Okay, I figured out my key to success. Now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Welcome back. You're not locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood, killer to my left, DK on the mats here at the beautiful Next Element Academy, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Today we're going to be talking about a whole lot of bare knuckle shit.
Bare knuckle beat down.
Yeah.
Knuckles, the original knuckle sandwich.
True. It's getting more and more popular, right? Yeah. And now we're starting to see, now that it's legal in South Carolina, we've seen the BKFC come here to Myrtle Beach. They're coming back shortly. We have a member of the community here at the Next Element Academy that will be participating.
Yep. He's been on our show too.
Yes. Yep. Yes. That is the one and only Jeremiah Scott. So yeah, we're just going to talk about that. Talk about, we both watched the Game Bred MMA championships. Yeah. Talk about what we think about that. Yeah, just kind of wing it, man.
Yeah, man. It's just that whole bare knuckle thing is wild. I remember, coming up and fighting and stuff like that, and I always thought about. I read a book. I used to read all the time. I still do read, but I was reading a book during that time frame, and it was I can't remember the name of the book, but the guy he traveled around. He would fight in Thailand. He'd go to Burma. He'd do bare knuckle in Burma. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lithway. Have you ever heard of Lithway?
Mm-mm.
If you've never heard of Lithway, you need to look that up.
Is that a dude or?
It's bare knuckle kickboxing.
Okay. Oh, so it's
called Lithway.
Gotcha.
No, that's the name. It's called Lithway
okay. Got you.
Lithway fighting. And so you can do headbutts.
Ooh.
Yes. You can do headbutts, you can do elbows, and it's bare knuckle. It's just you got the rope. You got rope on your hands.
Oh, okay. So I've seen that in like the UFC game before, and I was like, what kind of shit is this? But apparently it's a real thing.
It's a real thing, dude.
Wow.
And you see dudes are headbutting people in fights, and now, like, that's a big deal.
Damn. Ropes? That has got
wrapped around their hands.
Suck. How many? I mean, it's got to make your punches way harder.
Yeah. I mean, you guys.
And cuts.
Yep. Cuts. I mean, you can do elbows, headbutts, obviously. Man, I'll have to send you some stuff on that. But
I don't think I'd be down for that.
Lithway is crazy, man. Also, the only way you can win is by TKO or knockout. So the fight goes on, it's a draw.
Right.
Either person.
So there's no time limit?
There's no time. No, there is a time limit, but after end, it's a draw.
Oh, got you. Oh, okay. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so anyways, I was reading this book, and this guy talked about that stuff in there. And he also talked about how some places they have fights all the way to the death. Like, I mean, this is like, think of the black market of fighting.
Right.
Right? And you get guys that are on their last leg of their life. Right, but they know how to fight, and there's nothing. I mean, and it's like me and you and this dude, and the only way for you to win the money is if you kill that other guy.
That better be a lot of money.
It has to be, has to be, man.
But then again, depending on what country it is, it might not be a lot to us.
This guy was also in the French Foreign Legion that I was reading about. He also went to this. Man, I have to find the name of this book. I have it somewhere at home. But anyways, he also went to a club where you bet and you play Russian roulette in this club.
Wow.
And so it's like you have these chairs and and it's people get dragged out the back.
People are just so eager to die, dude.
It's crazy, man. Like, I mean,
wow.
How is that even a thing?
Obviously, it's not legal.
Well, it's overseas, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, and you got to think of
crazy.
Burma, the country Burma.
I've heard of it. I have no idea where it is.
It's up near Thailand and yeah. So wild things, man.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to go there.
So we aren't even close to other countries.
It's hardcore.
Yeah. So at least like the BKFC, it looks like a really nice ring. It's a nice circle. Yeah. And they tape their hands up to the knuckles. You can't go over the knuckles. I think it's up 1 inch to the knuckle. and which is just like boxing wrap with the gauze.
So the preparation leading up to that, obviously it's it's different than MMA with gloves, but our fighters, I imagine that they need to do things to I guess condition their wrists or fit. Is there anything different that you're doing?
Well, you can't just condition in 8 weeks, right?
True.
Like you got to think a karate master when they hit that board, boom, boom.
That's
boom,
what I was thinking of in my head, right?
10 plus years, 20 years.
Yeah.
And then they have calluses. That's what you have to do. You have to build up calluses on your knuckles and on your, on your bones and everything, and just constant boom hitting. So, I mean, hitting the heavy bag, bare knuckle is okay, because it's a round surface and whatnot, but it's really hard to train bare knuckle, man, because
it sucks.
I mean, hitting the heavy bag, you're going to skin your hands up.
Exactly, yeah.
Skin your knuckles up. So, I mean, probably tape them up or something, or use MMA gloves. But even then, I mean, you skin the tips of your knuckles, and you want to feel what those knuckles feel like.
Right.
So, I trained with Jeremiah on this past Friday, just passed, and we did some boxing rounds. And, the thing is uppercuts and straight punches, and to the side, because a lot of people, they get used to boxing gloves. The protection's not there,
right? Yeah.
So like, yeah, you can throw straight punches, but like if I cover up my face, I'm going to be hitting your hands, and so we got to come underneath and coming around the side, when the straight's not open, So using, uppercuts and then threes off of that and then a straight off of that. So boom, boom, boom. So you can come underneath, go to the side, and then come straight down the pipe. That's what I like to do. Or you can go jab 3-2. So you hit right down the middle and then you hit the side, or you can end with the uppercut. But I think that's, the key to this is to bare knuckle is not necessarily trying to box like a boxer, is like get in nice and tight and boom, 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 hit those little uppercuts and over the top right hands while your head's nice and tight, in the clinch.
So clinching in bare knuckle, I don't know the rules or anything. Are you
grab
allowed
the head
to grab?
And boom, boom, boom. So you can't obviously get them in like a headlock,
right. But you can like scoop it and
hug that head. Boom. Dirty boxing.
Yeah.
Yep. You can dirty box.
That's cool. Have you ever heard of the technique? And I saw this on, maybe it was a documentary a long time ago about the old fighting Irish families in Ireland. They would soak their hands in kerosene. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Apparently it'll harden your bones.
Did you watch that documentary?
I watched something on it. It's been a while, but I remember the guy was talking about how his dad would have them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'd soak their hands in petrol.
Petrol. Yeah.
And to make their hands hard. I think that's stupid. I think you're going to get cancer later on.
That's what I was thinking. Like the chemicals that your body is absorbing through your skin when you do that.
Dude, it's definitely not.
But this guy, you're looking at his hands, man, and they're huge. The guy was huge. Yeah, he had to have been like 6'7". He was a giant to me. But his fists were like that big already. Yeah. And he's talking about soaking. I was like, dude, do you need to do that? Maybe somebody like me, but like, do you need to do that?
Looks like you've been hitting your hand, like hitting nails in with your hands for 10 years.
His fists were the size of like Popeye's forearms. Yeah, they were huge. But that was an interesting documentary.
So my dad, fun fact, my dad was a big, like he would fight all the time, meaning at bars and clubs. Well, maybe not clubs. My dad wasn't a big club guy, but he would shoot pool. My dad was a pool hustler. That's how he made his living, And so he would go to these pool halls, and next thing you know, he'd get in a fight. And, man, I remember my dad coming home, and he'd, after a fight or something like that, he might have a busted nose, or he might have like a little mark on his eye or something. And I'll be damned if his knuckles, dude, the ones that right here are back here. So he'll this knuckle is flat and it's back here.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, man, I knocked my knuckles back in my hand. And I'm like, what is going on?
What did
When
you
I was a
punch?
kid, I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. You know, I was
Right.
like, my dad just hit somebody so hard his knuckle, you know? So, yeah, I grew up around, you know, when we used to go to, so my family, the Kennington side of the family, it was not, we're a fighter type of family. Like, my cousin was a boxer as well. And my other cousin, he called himself the best back parking lot fighter there was in Rock Hill. But anyways, we go to family gatherings and it ends up being like a slap boxing match or ends up being, you know, even worse than that, a real fight, you know, especially after alcohol has been introduced.
And somebody gets a good slap off and then it gets personal.
Yeah, yeah. So I grew up around that and, you know, so I always wanted to bare knuckle box, you know, but obviously I never thought that the time would come where it was fully legal,
right?
Where it's a thing, and it's growing. Like, I mean, how many people were at the convention center?
Dude, I think it had to have been like close to sold out if it wasn't.
It was definitely sold out. They said it was sold out, and they kept adding 500 tickets, and then they added 500 more. So this one in Columbia is at
Colonial Life
Arena.
Way more people.
Way more people. Like, I mean, so
are you gonna be there for
wild.
That? Are you gonna coach him?
I'm not gonna be there, man. My son's birthday's the next day.
Oh.
So we got a lot of family in town and everything. Yeah. So as much as I want to be there, I can't make it.
Yeah. Well, family calls, man. You know.
Yeah, man. I spent a lot of time. That's what a lot of people don't understand is like, early on in my career, as far as fighting is concerned, like, I might as well been single, man. Yeah. I might as well been single. I might as well not even have, like, my daughter. I would have to take her places with me all the time. You know, I was always running around everywhere when I was single. I was always going to fights, here and there and everywhere for fighters, not getting paid a dime, just going, you know, with them because I knew how it felt, you know.
Yeah.
And now that my son's born, he's 10 months. He's going to be a year old the day after, you know, that fight. You know, I want to be there to put him down to sleep. I want to be there to wake him up and be there for him and you know, like, dude, it's your freaking birthday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who knows? I can go to that fight. I can leave that night, right, and come back and be there at 12. You know, probably get home by midnight.
That's a lot, though. Especially, you know, family.
It's his first birthday, man. And,
right.
we got a lot of stuff planned to do. So, anyways, I won't be at that. But I just think, like, bare knuckle is kind of, it's wild, man. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get cut for sure.
Yeah.
And you could break your hand.
Yep.
You know, and so people with hand issues, you know, could have problems.
What would be your price to do it?
My price?
Yeah.
Probably $10,000 to show, $10,000 to win. I'd make a good $20,000.
Right on. So if they approached you and they were like, hey, you know, we're interested, you know, are you interested? And like they gave you that money, you'd be like, yeah, I'll do it.
I don't know, probably.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, dude.
Andy?
$10,000, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's not life changing, right? Like that $20,000 is gone as soon as they.
Right,
like,
but I mean, hey, $20,000.
I'm gonna just pay off some bills or something, you know.
Yeah, pay off some debt.
It definitely helps for sure. But
hold on,
10,000 be good. Oh,
sorry. It's the first time that's ever happened. I heard my phone going off a minute ago, and now they're calling. So let me turn it off. Yeah, that would be. And you're 40?
40, bro.
40.
Yeah. But
and
there's
it had
other
to be
dudes.
the right opponent, too, right?
It had to be the right opponent.
Right. What if they're like, we got like a 25-year-old, you know, and
up and comer. He's like, I don't know, man. I want to fight again, and you know, bare knuckle is I don't know, man. I'm terrified. I have a lot of scar tissue in my face. I cut really easy. Really easy, man. Like as soon as I get hit with a punch, man, I'm probably gonna split right open.
Right.
You know? And I know that, so it doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence going in there of like taking punches and keep going, you know,
Right.
and different things like that. But who knows, man? You know, who knows? It's just a, you know, I don't really. It's only 5 2-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you've been in longer street fights, but then again, like in a street fight, it's not as bad because I mean you could take them down, you can kick. You're not just getting strictly punched the entire time. And like you were saying earlier, like you're going to get hit. There's shots that are going to get through. You can't possibly block them all.
You can try to block with your forearms and your elbows and stuff, but it's like that's like a good tactic is like using your forearms and to shield and your elbows is good defensive stuff because it's going to hurt the knuckles, you know.
I don't know what it's called, but I saw a video a long time ago of this guy he gave the guy boxing gloves. He's like, throw a punch, and every time you throw a punch, he he hit it with his elbow.
Yeah, that's old school shit.
So I've never seen anybody do that. That's interesting though. That would be interesting to see if somebody could actually pull that off.
I like when I'm sparring with MMA gloves, little gloves. You'll see me. I'll bring my elbows up.
Do you think that would be illegal in BKFC?
What, to block with your elbows?
Yeah,
absolutely not.
You think they would call it an elbows, like a strike, because you're
because you'd have to be going towards that person,
right?
Yeah. If they did, like, I mean, that's just stupid. Because I mean, it's literally taught in boxing to block with your elbows.
Okay.
Yeah, like to use your elbows when you're blocking the body. You're blocking when people are trying to go to the body. So all this is doing is like you're just boom, you're bringing it up. So their straight punches are running into your elbow.
Right.
You know. So.
Man. So all right. So $20K is your price to bare knuckle box.
Yeah.
What about bare knuckle MMA?
Bare knuckle probably same.
Really?
Yeah. I'm more intrigued in bare knuckle MMA than anything, just because like all those dudes just wanted to stand up the whole time, man. I'm gonna take you down, and dude, that's where I'm gonna slam you on little punches.
I think I only saw one submission out of like the 8 fights that I had watched that night.
I didn't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here's what I think, man. I mean, a lot of the dudes on the bare knuckle MMA, they're paying good too, man. I tell you about the guy that the matchmaker for that show was looking for a dude. It was 12-12, 12,000 fight, 12,000 win.
Oh wow!
Yep.
How do you know that?
I know the matchmaker.
Oh, for Game Bread.
For Game Bread, yeah.
Why don't you hit him up, man?
Huh?
Why don't you hit him up?
I don't need to hit him up, man. I don't need to. I ain't about.
I'm trying to coerce this man into doing a bare knuckle MMA
I do two. I sparred MMA twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. And now I'm over here trying to get you to fight.
Yeah. I've sparred I beat up like some guys half my size, just about.
You were sparring literally before we shot this podcast, right here in this spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. We've talked about how god awful we thought the commentary was for Game Bread with Robin Black, and I'll say it, that guy sucks. I think I could do better. And I don't know
the singer Robin Black. He was like
I don't know what he's done. I have no idea.
Who's
he looks like he kind of looks like.
I want to say Robin Black sung that. It was like a song. It was a one-hit wonder.
What is that dude's name? He was an actor, but then he also. He was like one of the Michael Jackson kids, but he also had a band, and he sucks at singing. I want to say his name is David something. Could be wrong.
Never mind. I know this. I don't know who this guy is. A Canadian combat analyst and sports commentator.
Yeah.
He formerly competed in mixed martial arts and former glam rock musician.
Oh, I didn't know he fought.
Well, we can see his freaking.
Look it up. Look up his record.
See what his record is.
Oh, Robin Black, man. And Kayla Harris, great fighter, but dude, I mean, listen.
Killer like Judica. He's 4-5, bro.
Yeah, I only know of him from
5 losses.
Because Dana White and him have gotten into it a lot. Why is he
so like popular?
It's all about who you know, man.
Like unreal.
In
his last fight was in 2012. He won. He lost, won, lost. Won, loss. He's lost by triangle choke, rear naked choke, won by triangle choke. He's fought the same person 2 times. Sorry. Man.
So, what about the guy who has talked about his herpes flare up?
Oh, yeah. That guy was on the card, too. Man. It's like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a viral video out of this MMA fighter that's getting interviewed after the fight. And he's talking about, oh, man, how'd you push through this fight? He's like, man, ain't nothing going to stop me. I had 2 herpes flare-ups this camp. I'm like,
and then
TMI, bro.
Yeah, and then he starts calling out the Paul brothers in the same, the same breath. It's like, man.
Immediately switch gears.
I don't know how you even get cleared to fight with herpes. I don't know how that works.
Dude, I don't know, man. It's called mat herpes. He might have had an outbreak as far as like something like that.
Right, right. But I would still think it's contagious. I mean,
it 100% is, man. But like,
maybe
if you
it's
don't
not
have
contagious
an outbreak
if you're not flaring up.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I hope that
Crazy,
never
man.
happens to me.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild, man.
This isn't herpes, by the way. This is Matt Byrne.
Matt Byrne. Remember that dude on? There was a dude on. They got turned away from Ultimate Fighter because Matt herpes. Anytime he gets stressed or anything like that, he would get like stuff on his head.
I do remember in the last season they let him fight, but it had to clear.
Not the last season, but this was
the McGregor season.
Oh well, this happened.
Oh really?
A long time ago.
Yeah. So it happened to a guy in the McGregor season too. But they didn't call it herpes. They just said it was like a cold sore. But it's like, come on.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Simplex 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called.
But yeah, that was that happened this past season as well. With
Wow.
He was on Team McGregor. As far as the bare knuckle stuff goes, I mean, listen, to each his own, right? Like it's definitely it can be very entertaining to watch. I'm not sure if it takes the sport to another level or anything, because mixed martial arts is already just a huge thing and has been growing and growing and growing. But
it's going to allow the opportunity for cuts to happen.
Oh yeah,
and fights are going to get stopped more for that. But
now the bare knuckle boxing, I think, does more
damage.
Well, yes, but I also think that it does more for not necessarily the sport of MMA, but for combat sports than bare knuckle MMA does.
Yeah, it's more action packed.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you got 5 2-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they want you start literally. You don't start in your corner.
You start at arm's length apart.
You're
right there in the middle.
Dude.
Yep.
And it's like ready, fight, and some dudes just completely start swinging. And see, I don't know what I would do from there. You know what I'm saying? And see, that's the whole. I don't know, man. Yeah, I just don't know what I would do from there. I'd probably try to throw an uppercut right off the rip.
Because I mean, they're 2-minute rounds. And I mean, do you really have time to feel the other person out? Like, I mean, it's only 2 minutes.
I think Scoggins, when Scoggins and Keith Richardson fought, that was a good one.
Fight,
good fight,
man. And I was sitting right there for that. Yeah. Like, it's different whenever you can hear the impact from gloves and then without gloves.
Yeah, and what's wild is I think Keith Richardson had his first or second pro MMA fight on the same card as me in Charlotte. And I think it was my 3rd or 4th pro fight. And now that guy's got, he's like 20-10 or something like that.
Yeah, he's out of Rock Hill too, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And he's fighting on Jay-Z's card.
Yeah, I want to say he's main event.
Yeah, he is.
Main event because he's fighting for a title.
Yep.
So,
man, that's going to be a fun night. Yeah. I'm going to be there for sure. So I'm going to try this little thing. Like, I'm going to try my own embedded. You know how UFC does theirs? I'm going to try it. It's going to just be called Locked In Embedded. And I'm going to get some footage of Jay-Z leading up to it, and then I'm going to go with him, get the weight cut and the weigh-ins, and try to make something cool out of it and see if it's something that,
nice.
Ultimately can bring some eyes back to the podcast and just be a cool project to work on. It's practice for me as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, my question to you is, when Jay-Z came to you and was like, hey, I'm going to do this BKFC, what was your immediate thought?
My immediate thought is, well, I know that's something he wants to do, but I have a if I'm an MMA fighter, like my focus needs to be if I want to succeed and I want to make it, let's say to UFC or Bellator or PFL, I'm going to focus my sole will on that right there. Like if I want to play basketball, I'm going to focus on basketball.
Right.
So I know he's 30, and I know that's like, you know, and this is an opportunity for him. It's good, and it could, you know, continue to take off, but he's still young enough to where the MMA thing can still work.
It's still an option, yeah.
Still an option. So it's like, but you go and fight, and let's say you break your hand again. He's broken his hand once already, maybe twice. And so let's say he breaks his hand, he's out for months. Let's say he breaks his nose again. He's broken his nose twice.
Plus the MMA stuff on hold even longer.
Yeah, everything goes back even further than, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's always, obviously there's pros and cons, right? Like a pro is he goes out there and he has a viral moment.
Yes.
You know, and then that, whether it's, you know, it's viral and it helps his boxing career or it gives him maybe some opportunities in MMA. Regardless, if he has a viral moment, the opportunities will come, which mean more money. But then, you know, there's the cons of taking a risk like that. Yeah, so I was interested in that because I don't know. You know,
I'm not a huge fan on it, right? Especially if you're wanting to, you know, fight and stay active MMA fighter. It's just not what I would recommend, you know. But hey, he does kickboxing sometimes, and then he'll go MMA, and then he'll do some boxing.
Yep.
You know, so hey, it's his journey. It's not mine,
right.
Like, so there's only so much I can say and lead him to. So that's just the way it is.
Well, it's cool. Like even though it might not be the direction you take. I mean, you're obviously still supporting him, right? You're training with him, and you're being, you know, a coach. So when it comes to being so where else does he go to? Because I know he goes up. Is it Carolina Kickboxing Academy? Yeah. He'll go up there and get some work in and stuff as well. So leading up to his fight, which I think is like 5 weeks out, something like that. What are some things that you guys, like techniques that you guys are working on here, like that will benefit him? Not only in boxing, but geared more towards like a bare knuckle. Is there anything that you can do?
Dirty boxing. So I'm
sparring doing that, like, with MMA gloves.
I'm sparring him tonight. No, we're just gonna do, you know, boxing gloves. Okay, that's the only way you can do it safely. You know what I'm saying, and do multiple rounds. You can do the MMA gloves, but it's just, I don't know. It might. You know, that's an idea, doing it with training MMA gloves, you know, with headgear. Yeah. So that's an option as well.
What about, like, do you guys, like, hit mitts, like, bare knuckled or?
Nope, just 12 ounce. The smaller the gloves, obviously, the better, right? So you can feel more of the impact. I have 8 ounce gloves for hitting mitts. Those are awesome for hitting mitts. 8 ounces, because it's, you know, you can barely tell the difference. When it gets to 16, it starts slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, a little heavier.
And it's way bigger. It's more bulkier. So when you hit the pad, it could be off, but it could still be on, you know, because of the bulky glove, and it centers itself. So, you know, I just think it's a trial and error, you know. I mean, he agreed to a fight last week.
Yeah.
So
I remember seeing him comment on Andy Hall's post, like, where's my opponent? And I was like, in my head, I was like, this is before they announced anything, probably before they even had a fight for him. And I was like, man, that would be interesting. And then next thing I know, he's posting the flyers like, oh, wow, he's doing it. Yeah. Credit to him, man. You got to have some balls to do that. I mean, you know, street fights can be sketchy enough. You know, but then you're going against somebody who trains.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
that's a whole.
His opponent's only got 8 MMA fights. He's 1 and 2 as a bare knuckle.
But he has bare knuckle experience.
Yeah. That's another thing. It's like when you've been in there already, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm interested. I like all the bare knuckle stuff. I think it's just another avenue, you know, for the MMA sport, and you know, and it makes the fans like, oh, you know, it's another. And MMA is all like, UFC is, you know, the king right now.
Right.
And, you know, nobody's ever been able to take them over. They've tried. Numerous things have tried to catch up to what the UFC has done, and and they just can't do it.
Yeah.
They're the professional side of everything, the most professional organization, the most like standardized, you know. They've been in it the longest.
Right.
So
they've had the most trial and error. I mean, that's why they are where they are. And
absolutely.
The organization that was second place forever is disbanding.
Yeah.
You know, couldn't keep up.
I know.
So I read that PFL's not even buying them.
Oh, wow.
That they're just going to disband.
Oh.
Yeah, which I don't know. That's
that can't happen.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, why would they just going to let all those fighters go and, you know, just do what they want? I don't know. It's all rumor. You know, nobody really knows, but yeah, that would be nuts too. The UFC is they're A side and will be A side probably for a long time. Like, I mean, yeah, somebody could come along and take that.
I mean, it's been 30 years.
Yeah, right. They'll probably be A side forever for as long as they're a thing.
Well, if you hear that the fighters union that they're starting is saying that the UFC is a monopoly and they have a monopoly on fighters' pay for the UFC. So that's the reason why fighters aren't making the money that they should be making.
And there's a lawsuit going on right now too. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Going back to Jeremiah, like, you know, I've seen Jeremiah fight. I don't know who the guy he's fighting is. But I think if Jeremiah can come with that intensity.
His name's Chevy of all.
Really?
Yep. Another Chevy.
Huh.
A Chevy Wildman something. I can't remember his last name.
Huh.
Chevy Wildman something.
You know, so the Chevy that trains here, is Chevy his real name?
Yeah.
Is Barefoot his real last name?
Yeah.
If I see that name on a fight card, I'm fucking scared.
Yeah.
Like, this dude is probably huge.
Dude.
He's probably Native American.
Oh, Chevy Barefoot over here. Yeah.
That is a crazy name, dude. I mean, I think it's a rad name, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, if I meet a man, his name is Chevy, and I know his name before I meet him, I'm instantly thinking this guy's like.
I said, man, what did you get named Chevy for? Mom really likes Chevys.
I'm assuming he's Native American with the last name Barefoot.
I don't know, man. I didn't really ask him about that.
Right.
I was just like, how'd you get the name Chevy?
He might be too hairy to be Native American, man. I'm Native American. We don't grow any facial hair.
See, I have Native American in me,
really?
But I grow facial hair, but I can't grow chest hair, body hair.
Thank God for that. I wish I could grow a beard, but I'm glad I don't really get any body hair.
Yeah, me
I'm
either,
good on that.
Yeah, the older I'm getting, the more hair I'm getting, though.
Really?
I got hair coming out of my ears, my nose.
I don't see anything come out of that ear with all the cauliflower.
There's some coming out.
What's it like clean? Dude, oh my, I've never really looked at it like that. Well, how do you even clean your ears, dude?
Can
you stick your pinky in there?
I have to force it in there.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. I have to force it in there. But yeah, I clean my ears actually every day, but it's crust gets caught up in them. Little crevices and shit. Yeah, see, there's some little crust. That's for you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you first started getting cauliflower ear, where did it start?
I started this. There's a little one right underneath here. I got it on this side too, but it's right where that crease is in your ear on the top. I had I called it a little boob. It just hung down and it was all puffy. And I remember going to the doctor and I'd be like, hey man, can you and I was in the military. Mm-hmm. So I go to the military doctor and I'm like, hey, I got something in my ear. Can you guys drain this? And they're like, they had no clue.
Really?
What it was. They had no clue what to do with it. I said, and I was trying to get, so when I was fighting in the military, I didn't ever go to the doctor for anything. If I got hurt, in doing MMA, the Air Force, I was scared that they were going to just stop, be like, hey, you can't fight no more.
Right.
Because I'd have to sign these waiver forms. Anytime I had a fight, I'd have to sign these waiver forms saying that if anything happens to me at major, that the military's not going to pay for it, that I have to pay for it.
Right.
So I'd have to sign, it's called the high-risk activity form. So I'd have to sign those away. Well, anyways, I remember going into the doctor. I'm like, I got this cauliflower here. Can you guys drain this? And they said, I got it from playing racquetball. I was playing racquetball, and I ran into the wall, the racquetball court.
Oh yeah, so they would pay for it.
That's what I told them. I didn't tell them it was from fighting or anything.
Right.
Anyways, they couldn't. They tried to drain it, and I go home, and it's already back.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I thought they drained it, and I thought that was good. No, draining just kind of lets the pressure off.
Right.
And it immediately fills right back up with blood.
Mm.
So from that point on, I was just like, I'm just gonna leave it. I had a fight coming up, so it was like, I just left it there.
Yeah.
And the rest
And it
is
turned
history.
into that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the exact moment it happened? Like,
so I fought 2 fights back to back. So like, it happened in an MMA fight. I got an elbow. So when I was fighting amateur, I could throw elbows too. I caught an elbow to the side of the ear.
and you just felt it instantly.
No, I didn't even feel it, but after the fight, I saw it. Yeah.
Because I've talked to some people about it, and some people are like, yeah, I know the second I got it, and then like others are just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes you can hear it crunch and crackle and
Really?
crinkle. Yeah. Especially now
Really?
because there's so much cartilage and
Yeah, I bet
so much
I bet your
calcium
ears,
buildup in there.
How much you think your ears weigh if you were to cut them off and put them on a scale? Because I know all that's got to be hard.
It is. It's rock hard. Yeah. I don't know, man. They're probably.
Imagine missing weight because your cauliflower ears so bad. It's not like hair, you know. You can't just like cut your dreads off or something.
Yeah,
like
it's like my ears made me gain 2 pounds.
Man,
that's wild.
I mean, that's badass, but I hope my ears never look like that.
Yeah.
No offense.
Man.
I mean, it looks good on you.
Thanks.
You know,
I got a guy. He always wears the headgear, and he's got his kids wearing headgear now. He's got 3 kids.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna make headgear banned now. You guys think cauliflower ear is so bad, but no, it happens, man. And people with regular 9-to-5 job or aren't in this isn't your life, right? It's not fun. It's definitely not fun, and it's not pretty at all. But I just knew it was gonna stay with me. This is something I'm gonna do. And it's going to happen over and over and over again, which it has, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe this is like stupid cliche man thing to say, but I do think it's kind of like a trophy.
It is.
It's
definitely
a symbol
trophy.
of hard work.
Yeah.
Well, in most cases, like some people might just get their ass kicked.
Some people they get cauliflower ear very early,
right?
Because they got virgin ears and stuff. I got cauliflower ear a little bit, after about 6 months. Well, I had my first fight after 8 months. So after about 8 months, but it's like I had some skin in the game. I had a fight. That's where I got it from.
Right.
I didn't just get it from training, and then but
I think mine isn't bad. But I think that the little bit I do have came from, I definitely got it in like my first 6 or 7 months, and it was just from getting caught in the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
But now it hasn't really gotten much worse because I'm getting better at just not getting
caught in guillotines in your ear. Like
mine was ripping my head out of triangles.
Yeah, that too. Your ear gets crinkled over and starts crunching. You get caught. Yeah.
But I'm getting better about not getting caught in those as much, or really ever. I think I did a private with you, or no, maybe it wasn't. Somebody had told me when that happens, just create distance, sit down, and put your feet in their armpits. That's what every time me. Just kick out.
Yeah, that was Ethan. That has to be Ethan.
Maybe it was.
That was the Ethan move.
Just kick out of it.
I'll definitely be a little bit more technical.
Well, now I know that I can just throw my knee over. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's just easier as soon as they catch it, just to.
Man, sometimes you're locked in that bitch, though.
Yeah.
That's tough. I hate being stuck in guillotines, man. Especially because it's hard for regular, anybody to finish me in a guillotine here unless it's all the way in, so that my neck's getting every twisted and turning, and I'm just like waiting for them to tire out so that but there'll be a grimace on my face because they're squeezing my neck, and I'm just waiting. So yeah,
I try to fight and like hang in there as long as I can, but man, the past month months straight, it hurts every single time I swallow on this side from getting caught and stuff, and just trying to ride it out. And I think of it as trying to be resilient, and not tap. But at the end of the day, like, I just want to be able to swallow without it hurting. So I've been quick just to tap.
Like, you good player. I get you next time.
Yeah. But lately I have been having that feeling of rolling, and this kind of goes back to one of the first pods that we did, where like I'm starting to see or feel the hard work, paying off in just little areas of
You're
me.
the second person told me that day.
Really?
Yep.
Of just being able to get sweeps and not getting swept, and
starting to understand things a little bit more. Yeah.
Right. And it's not really happening much whenever I roll with higher belts, but when I roll with people that are white belts like me, that's when I get to see those things really paying off. Yeah. And man, that's so freaking rewarding.
You were doing a really good job when we rolled, getting your guard recovery.
Yeah, so
do
you remember that part of the roll whenever so I tried to go knee on belly and you wrestled up, and then I tried the Darce thing that you were teaching us like a couple days before. Obviously it didn't work, but even myself in the moment I was like, oh shit, I remembered that. Now I remember I didn't gable and try to crank it in. I just went straight to trying to grab, and maybe that's where I messed up a little, but I was like, damn, I'm just proud of myself for even remembering that shit. And then the Ezekiel choke, I've been pulling that off a little bit since we learned that last week. So I don't know, man. It feels good. Good. Still white belt shit, but it just feels good, man.
That's good, man. And you need those small wins, and especially in a sport, and something just like jiu-jitsu that takes so long to get to the even black belt where I'm at is not the top. You haven't learned everything, right? And so when you just want to keep learning more, and then you get better, and you do some fun stuff, and then somebody makes you mad, or not makes you mad, but does something to you, and you're like, man, how did they do that to me? And then it just spirals out of control almost, and it leads you into something a little bit more.
It's very obsessive.
Yeah,
and
it is. It's cult.
Yeah,
it's cult.
And one thing I've learned about being smashed and on my back a lot is I'm getting a lot better at if somebody gets to my half guard, keeping my knee and my elbow in and shrimping out and reclaiming guard.
That elbow knee space is going to save her life, man.
Right. And Chevy also helped me. Dude, when we had Gary on and he was talking about how you're always somebody's favorite roll. Right. Chevy has become, now I don't get to roll with him often, but whenever I do,
roll with him today.
Did you?
Yeah.
So a couple Thursdays ago after
Monday
class.
and Wednesdays I usually.
Oh, so he comes early morning.
8 a.m. So
okay, yeah. A couple Thursdays ago after class, me and him rolled during class in the live rolls, and he's like, hey, come here, we're going to work on some things.
Yeah.
For 20 to 30 minutes after class, he had me drilling out there on the mats. And now, because of that, because he took a little extra time to really instill it in my head, this is how it needs to be done. That's helped me out so much.
Yeah, and dude, I'm not going to be able to show you everything, right? It's impossible for me to show you everything. So you have to have all these other dudes out here. I mean, Chevy's a brown belt. He's been training jiu-jitsu for 13 years, so a little smidge of his knowledge just sprinkled in on you is just gonna help you tremendously.
And haven't always been the type of dude to start standing up, because I'm just what do I do with my hands? I know get a collar grip, but then what do I do then? You know what I mean? So a lot of times I'll just start sitting down, but so we started standing up, and I don't know, man. It's just been fun, man. So if Chevy watches this, thanks first of all.
Thanks, Chevy.
We need to have you on sooner or later, because he's been a martial artist his entire life.
Yeah, lifetime martial artist, man.
But yeah, man, it's cool to see Matt Time kind of paying off with the little victories here and there. By the way, how did that class go after Open Mat on Saturday?
Amazing.
So tell people what was going on there. Who were those guys?
So this past Saturday we had a local college. It's called Coastal Carolina. They had a group of educators, or going to be educators.
Okay.
An African-American group, and so it was 9 dudes. They had a mentor with their group. They're called Call Me Mister, and they're all over.
I like that.
Yeah, Call Me Mister.
Yeah.
But they're African Americans that are trying to, be educators afterwards. So their group, and they do things together for like team building. Yeah. And so we hosted them here. And, the first thing we did, we played a game called Sumo. It's where to like knock you out, and the winner stays up. The winner, the man on top, he's constantly staying up, and he's not. I mean, dude knocked me out.
There were some big dudes,
big
man.
dudes in there.
I thought they were athletes.
Yeah, yeah. One dude had a Coastal like football shirt on, like
right.
He was a lineman for Coastal.
I know exactly. That was a big guy.
Yeah. So he ended up winning the sumo.
Well, he better.
I mean, boom, just not. Then it was to see who can hold mount on me the longest, right? And then there were learning points after that, and then I held mount on them, see who, and then their friends would come in and get mount on them and see how long they could hold them down and stuff. And I'm like, man, in life there's going to be a ton of times where you're going to be the guy that's up on the pedestal and people are clawing and trying to knock you off and trying to like get you out of the way,
right,
and so they can get in that top spot,
right?
So I quoted Lil Wayne, the top gets higher the further I climb. That's one of my favorite lines. Anyways, but it's just like, that's it. Like when I was fighting MMA, it was like, man, you won this fight, but you're still down here.
Right.
You're still down here. You still got to go way up there if you're trying to get it, So you have to train just like that. Like you're already up there. You have to, because you're trying to get there, And so that's why I'm trying to explain to them. I said, but just like us with a team, I have Ethan I can rely on. I have, other people. I have Chevy I can rely on to help other students around. I said, you guys have this little group right here. I said, you lean on each other during these times of need. Lean on each other. And, we just, man, I just, try to turn it into like a team building bonding thing,
right.
And just with jiu-jitsu and just with mount escapes and, wrestling around with each other and,
that's
making it a competition almost, like who can get out of mount fastest, who can, do this fastest or whatnot,
What was the longest somebody held mount on you?
Maybe 10, 14 seconds.
Is it
maybe.
the lineman?
No.
Right on. I think I heard one of the guys saying that he had trained before,
seconds.
right?
Yeah, one dude had trained before.
Was he like the leader of the group or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just he was another student. He actually
Gotcha.
is a teacher already for
word.
second grade. So maybe he's in his master's program maybe.
So whose idea was that to reach out and do it? Like,
so one of our kid students, his mom works over at Coastal. She reached out to us and said they were wanting something to do.
I mean, it's a great team
bonding thing. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
Yeah. So that's something that we might start doing. Start offering that, to some more college groups and stuff, and maybe businesses, and see where it goes from there.
Need to get more cops in here.
Definitely need more cops in there.
Have you ever thought about reaching out and like trying to? I mean, you did do the Air Force combatives.
Yes, I have.
Oh, they. Well, they're lost, I guess.
We'll see. I mean, that was years ago, but
yeah,
who knows now?
Well, you have a good bit of cops that come here, so you can always just be like, well, why don't you ask your employees?
Yeah, Yeah. How many problems do you have with this employee because he does jiu-jitsu? How many times can he apprehend somebody by himself and doesn't need 4 people to pull the one arm one way and while the other officer's pulling the arm the other way?
Yeah.
Like work together, or just have one person that knows exactly how to handle a body. That's all police officers need to do, is know how to handle a body that is resisting them.
Yep.
When I roll with the cops, I pin them to the earth, and I don't let them move, and I just isolate every limb. So I treat them as if they are the suspect, and I'm the cop, and that's what they should be doing. So
right.
Cops, if you're watching, that's what I'm doing to you.
Yeah, no hard feelings.
Yep. Just making you feel like a suspect.
Yeah, making you feel like a criminal. So besides Jeremiah's fight coming up. Austin has one too, right? I think we
December 8th. Yep.
That's right.
Josh
That's
Cook's
right.
got an amateur fight coming up December 8th. Clay, he's got his first pro Muay Thai fight coming up October 7th in, I want to say Raleigh, I think.
Nobody competing on Derek Brunson's promotion in November?
No.
I was wondering if we had anybody that was going to be there. The last time that came here, Austin competed there. I mean, that was a quick one, too.
Yeah.
That was very quick.
The problem is, man, there's just so many fighters. So
Yep.
many fights on the card. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah, with that one alone.
disorganized.
Yeah, oh, yeah, dude. They did
You know?
14, 15 fights on the last
So,
one.
like, I love fighting it. I love that fighting's here in Myrtle Beach, but if my fighters are going to be involved in something, there has to be some type of little
Structure.
more organization and structure, and not 20 fights on the card.
Yeah, because we
And then
didn't
you
even know
have
if he was going to be able to fight.
Then you have these other fights that's like pre-AMI
Oh, yeah.
MMA,
Yep.
and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like amateur.
Yeah, it's an amateur.
Yeah.
AMI. Yeah. But anyways, man, yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but yeah,
Did you see that Derek got released from the UFC?
did not see that.
Yeah, I wonder what's next for him. Probably PFL, I would imagine.
Figured he'd be about ready to hang it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, as soon as he got released, he's calling out Jake Paul, which I feel like everybody. But Jake Paul has mentioned him before and fighting him, so, I mean, why not shoot your shot?
I mean,
you know?
Derek still got, he's
doing well, yeah.
He's doing well,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
He's got properties in Florida.
Yep. Well, shit, man. Oh, one more thing before we go. Guess what I'm doing tomorrow morning?
What's that?
An introductory flight. I think I'm going to flight school.
Flight school.
Try to
Oh,
be a
man, got
pilot.
Maverick over here.
One day. Well,
Okay.
commercial.
Maverick, maybe I'll be Goose.
Take you on like a.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you know I got to get my
Get our-
hours in. You
get
want to
us
go to
some
Charleston
mustaches in.
for lunch? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
if I could grow one.
Go to Legendary.
Just fly into Charleston, go there, and come back. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be doing that soon. But anyways, fuck, dude, take us out.
Yeah.
I'm out of things to say.
Thank you guys so much for locking in with us today. I appreciate you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things that you should do to help us promote this show. And, yeah, we appreciate you.
Till next time.
Out.